Yo, what's up guys, it's your boy Slapthigh, and today I'm going to be making a guide on the new character that just dropped today, Ikora the Hidden. So starting off, as per usual, we'll be going over the banner itself first, and then we'll go over the character. There will be timestamps in the description if you want to go to a specific part of the video, you can go ahead and do that. So similar to the last character, we got Ikora the Resolute. We do have a new event that lets you get free ships to summon in this banner. There's also some pay-to-win options down here. If you want to spend silver, you can. But you can get this character completely for free just by doing some of these challenges. So make sure you give those a look and get those done. This banner will last a total of 41 days as of making this video. If you're not able to pull the character for some reason within this time frame, it's alright, because she will be added to the Rising Lights, which is the permanent banner. Ikora the Resolute is actually already in here. I mentioned that when I made my Caper guide, that he would be added to this banner as well. So again, if you do not pull the Ikora, you do not have to worry too much about it. You'll be able to pull her through that banner, if not this one. Alright, quickly we'll go over the illustration cards as per usual. So the first card here, Cosmic Moments, a transmat effect. Not too bad. Moving on to the second card here, we have the emote, 3 points. Can't really see that too well. Then we have the third card here, the Ghost, the only exception. Pretty neat actually. Then we have the fourth card here, the Sparrow. Alright, then quickly we'll go over the details of the banner. So of course, the mythic character, the primary unit that you're going for, is the new Ikora. But down here for the legendary characters, you can also get these 3 characters here. And of course the cosmetic items that are in pretty much every banner. And then the other items. Alright, now let's start looking at the character herself. So I haven't built my Ikora too much, so don't worry about the power or anything, but I will be going over the skills and such. Yeah, starting off, so her weapons are light grenade launcher and rocket launcher, the same as Ikora, the other Ikora that we already have in the game. So if you are a huge Ikora fan, you can rejoice because you can put all of your stuff that you've already built onto this new Ikora and it'll work perfectly fine. As for Light Link Companion, she gives an AoE boost, which is actually pretty nice. That could be good for any other spread units, such as Maru or the other Ikora. This could technically also work for Wolf because he uses grenade launcher as well. Basically, anybody uses spread weapons, this is going to be really good for them. So going back to weapons here, we do have a new weapon. We have Truth. To talk about this weapon, we'll talk briefly about the Season Battle Pass. They came out with a new Battle Pass with the release of this new character that gives you Truth and other goodies as per usual. But yeah, if you buy the Premium Pass, you can first get Truth here at level 10 on the Battle Pass. And then you can get it for free on the base Battle Pass at 50. Of course, also, if you have the currency for the Battle Passes, you can also buy Truths here. You can buy one for 40 of the tokens here, and you can buy another one for 60. You can also buy the Truth Catalyst here with the tokens as well. So real quick, we'll go over the traits and perks and catalysts for the Truth, just to get the full coverage here. So its intrinsic trait here, Prototype True Seeker. This weapon's rockets have tracking, lock on the targets when aiming down sights. Then its perk here, Grenades and Horseshoes. Projectiles will detonate when they are within close proximity of their targets. We'll go over to 3 catalysts here. The first one here reduces the weapon's shooting interval by 30%. And we have the second one here. When rockets from the same magazine hit the same target, they deal an additional 30% blast damage. And then the third one here, when rockets from the same magazine hit the same target, they deal an additional 50% blast damage. Alright, now moving on to her relic abilities here, we'll start with her passive, Void Annihilation. It's a pretty long one, so we'll read over here real quick. Landing light grenade launcher, rocket launcher shots grants 1 to 3 stacks of Annihilating Light, plus up to 2 additional stacks based on the number of individual combatants hit. Volatile Blast, triggered by any means, also grants 1 stack of Annihilating Light. Once she has reached 72 stacks of Annihilating Light while in the Void Annihilation state, Ikora will instantly gain 1 charge of Void Traversal and empower it. Using the empowered Void Traversal puts Ikora into the Void Annihilation state for 10 seconds. While in the Void Annihilation state, the efficiency at which Ikora gains Annihilating Light is increased by 100%. When the Void Annihilation state ends, a maximum 24 stacks of Annihilating Light are retained, and Stellar Projection and Void Traversal charges are reset to 1 and 2 respectively. Alright, now let's go over her signature ability. So our first signature ability here, Stellar Projection. Fires a Stellar Projection in a rising pattern during which rotation can be controlled in a 180 angle. This projectile overpenetrates and combatants hit. This projectile overpenetrates all combatants hit, dealing void damage and applying void energy that detonates after 1 second for an additional hit of void damage and triggering an additional volatile blast. We're going to be showcasing her moves later in the video here. Then the second signature here, Void Traversal. Ikora dashes through the void, reloading her current weapon and generating 1 micro black hole. Firing weapons launches the micro black hole to deal void damage and applying volatile energy. Combatants will also be pulled in and inflicted with confined. As I'll showcase more in the video later, the more micro black holes you stack, the bigger radius and I believe damage it does. I think I was able to stack a max of 6, at least at base level. The first relic trait talks a little more about that, and we'll go over that in just a moment here. But first, let's go over the Super Starfall. Channels and unleashes the void energy within Stardust to summon 8 falling stars. These projectiles descend and explode upon colliding with a target or the environment, dealing void damage and inflicting volatile energy. Falling stars also generate gravitational suppression, causing targets beneath Stardust to take increased damage from Ikora's own attacks and prematurely enter the confined state. So the first relic trait here, Twofold Collapse. Firing more than 2 micro black holes in a burst expands the collapse range by 2 meters, extends Confine's duration by 100%, and restores 10% energy for all signature abilities for every 1 combatant hit. Up to 50% energy can be restored in a single burst. So that's basically what I was just talking about a second ago, where if you stack multiple, like if you use multiple void traversals here, you can get multiple stacks of micro black hole. And at least for this one, it just has to be more than 2, you get the benefits of this. But I believe if you fire more than that, you can get more benefits. Then we have the second relic trait here, Light's Convergence. Casting or directly dealing damage with an ability grants this amount of overshield for 6 seconds. If Ikora already has overshield, she recover health equal to 50% of the overshield gained. Then we have the third relic trait here, Energy Recall. When annihilating light exceeds its maximum, the overflow is converted into light shattered. The next use of void traversal reconverts stored stacks into void annihilating light. Up to 24 stacks can be stored at a time. Entering the void annihilation state converts the remaining energy of stellar projection and void traversal into a corresponding number of light shattered stacks. So this basically just lets you store up to 24 stacks of the annihilating light when you're already full. That's basically what this is saying here. Then moving on to the weapon master here, Spilled Volatility. At level 1 here, light grenade launcher / rocket launcher shots deal an additional amount of void damage to the first target inflicted with volatile energy. At level 2, increases the damage by an additional 30%. At level 3, 60%. Then at level 4 here, dealing damage with Spilled Volatility triggers an additional volatile blast and increases damage by an additional 30%. And then level 5 is another additional 100%. So as for artifacts, we'll talk more about artifact recommendations later in the video. So we'll move on to the talent tree here for the moment being. So the first talent tree here, Binary Resonance. The max charges of Stellar Projection and the max stacks of Volatile Energy are both raised to 2, and Stellar Projection applies an additional 1 stack of Volatile Energy upon overpenetrating a combatant, lasting for 10 seconds. So this is really nice. It basically just gives you a second of your first signature ability on top of these other benefits. Then the second talent tree here, Void Chain. When Stellar Projection overpenetrates a combatant, it also applies Void Chain for 10 seconds. When Void Chain damages a linked combatant, 5% of the damage taken is transferred to all other linked combatants. The shared damage cannot be spread at a second time. And the third talent tree here, Stellar Aegis. The overshield effect granted by Light's Convergence is enhanced by an additional 30%. Fourth talent tree here, Energized Star. Stellar Projections overpenetration damage and delayed detonation damage and volatile energies detonation damage are each increased by an additional 15%. Then the fifth one here, Vacuum Decay. The blast damage of falling stars is increased by 20%, and the vulnerability from gravitational suppression is additionally increased by 20%. Then the sixth talent tree here, Dual Orbit. Stellar Projection continues spinning after reaching its max angle of 360 degrees, which can overpenetrate combatants again and generate another delayed detonation. However, all damage from this is reduced to 60%. So not a terrible talent tree here. The only one I would say is like probably worth going for, at least if you're not trying to spend too much, is the first one, as per usual for most characters. I wouldn't deem any of these like super required, but they're always nice to have if you can get extra copies. So definitely keep that in mind when you're pulling. That would be what I would say, at least go for 1 extra copy if you like the character. If not, I wouldn't worry about it too much. You'll be able to pull for this character more because she's going to be moving to the permanent banner, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. All right, so now we're going to showcase her abilities in action here. So we're going to start off by showcasing the first signature ability here, the laser attack. So basically you just send out like a beam. If you go in third person, you can kind of see it a little better. So do remember that it penetrates enemies, so if you do it in a line like this, it'll hit all 3 of them. Quickly, before we talk about the other abilities, we're going to talk about the bar at the bottom there, the bar above your health bar. So those are your annihilating light stacks. You can hold again a maximum of 72 with an extra 24 on top with the Relic Trait 3. So when you are at max stacks, when you do your next dash, which is your second signature ability, it will put you into the Void Annihilation state. So we're going to showcase it right here. I'm going to use the dash, and at the bottom there, you'll see that the bar will start to go down. I am currently in the Annihilation state. However, when that bar does deplete, I will be out of it. Also, if you remember, when you exit your Annihilation state, you will retain 24 of your Annihilating Light. But if you don't use the rest of it, you will lose it. So we're going to activate this one more time. We're going to activate Void Annihilation State. So when you're in Void Annihilation State, you can use your Annihilating Light to activate your abilities. You'll see every ability that I cast costs 24 Annihilating Light. So you can use 3 of the beam attacks, or you can use 3 of the dashes. Although technically you could do more than 3 dashes, you can do a total of 5. The reason behind that is because the first time you use your dash when you're entering Void Annihilation State, you actually do get an extra dash on top of that one. So you'll see it'll automatically refill, and it won't use any of my Annihilating Light stacks. So now we'll go a little bit more in depth about the dash itself. So when you do a dash, outside of getting the Void Annihilation, if you are at max stacks, you will get a micro black hole buff. You can see that in the middle of the screen, and you can also see it on the bottom left. It does have a timer on it. The more dashes you do, the more of those that you get. You can hold a maximum of 6 micro black holes at a time. You'll see if I do a 7th dash there, I don't get a 7th one. When you shoot your primary and or secondary, it'll use those stacks all at once. So if you only have 1 and you shoot, it'll only use 1. So ideally you want to wait until you have multiple charges of your dash so that you can build a better black hole. So you can see I have 5. You can even see them floating around your weapon at the front there. On top of this, if your weapon is empty, if you do a dash, it will reload your weapon. It can also overload your mag as well, so you can have a maximum of 2, at least with this weapon it seems. So with those covered, we'll go over the super ability here now. So this kind of works out because these enemies are already grouped together. So this super works better when you have groups of enemies. You can see there's a ring of its radius. I can get all of the enemies with this, just shows how big the radius is. If you would like to cancel the super, you can press your melee button to get out of it. You can also switch your weapons, that'll work as well. So when you release the super button, it will confine the enemies within the circle, making it so they have to take those head on. So not a bad crowd control super by any means. Seems like it does pretty good damage too. I've yet to test it against a boss, but I'm sure it's not too bad. But yeah, not a bad super at all. So now I wanted to go over some artifact recommendations that I have for the new Ikora. So if you already have artifacts for the other Ikora, honestly, you could probably just put those on this new Ikora. She's not too much different. But if you haven't built the Ikora, then I'll give some recommendations here. So for the first one, I'd recommend Ring of Abundance. Basically just makes your overshields that you receive stronger, plus 48% potency at level 5. I think this would also benefit with her second relic trait, which I believe heals her if she has like max overshield. So that'll add to that as well. Then for the second one here, I do Siphoning Blazer. When the wielder has an overshield, dealing AoE damage to combatants grants overshield equal to 26% of the initial damage dealt for 10 seconds. This basically just helps you keep your overshield up pretty much infinitely. Then the third one here, Safeguarding Blazer, increases the base max overshield by 30%. Additionally, abilities deal plus 40% damage while protected by an overshield. Since you can basically spam abilities with this character, I think this is a really good one to have, especially since you always have your overshield up. And then the fourth one here, I went for Explosive Shell. Projectiles gain plus 48% blast damage and plus 48% blast radius on direct hits. When it comes to certain artifacts, I feel like you can mix and match a little bit, but this is personally what I would recommend. But definitely go with anything that you think fits your playstyle a little more. But yeah, guys, that's basically it when it comes to the new Ikora character. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully I helped you understand the character a little more. If there's anything I missed, make sure to correct me in the comments. I'll make sure to pin your comment. Overall, my thoughts on this character are so-so. Definitely think she has more potential than the old Ikora, but I'll definitely have to do some more testing before I give it like a general consensus. The good thing is about this character is that you can basically pull it for free, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. If you want to pull for the character, go for it. If not, perfectly understandable. But yeah, if you want to catch more live variety content, you can catch me over at my Twitch at twitch.tv/slapthigh. I also stream over here on my YouTube. Normally stream at 4 Eastern on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you have any more questions regarding the character or the game itself, we do have a Discord server for our community. You're free to hop in there and ask some questions if you have any. But yeah, that's basically it for me. Thank you again so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.